Hey guys, welcome back to The Bright Side. Macy here, the Bright Side Girl, and today we're going to be doing some recommendations for Randomathon. I went with a more theme parky theme today since a lot of the aesthetics have been circus themed and we've got a combination readathon. So in case you missed it, I will link the announcement down below in the description, but Randomathon is my circus carnival theme park themed readathon. It's going to be running Monday, February 5th through Monday, February 19th. So it'll be a full 2 weeks because we have President's Day at the end of the readathon. So I figured why not add another day. There are Instagram photo challenges. There are graphics. I will link the graphics folder down below in the description. So we have 5 reading challenges: curtains on the cover, set at a theme park, Misfit Characters, Ferris wheel on the cover, and magic or illusion. So I'll be referring to those while I give you the recommendation. I'm going to go through the books and I will let you know if they hit any of the reading challenges, but in general all of these books will be perfect for the readathon as they will all fit the vibes that I'm wanting to accomplish for the readathon. These are all books that I have read, so I have not read a ton of circus, carnival, theme park themed books, so you'll get more recommendations in a TBR video as well as a book haul, Randomathon themed book haul. So there'll be lots of recommendations. I'll have reels and different things, but for now we're gonna dive into these books. All right, first up we have The Mermaid by Christina Henry. This is one of my favorite mermaid books ever. It is so good. I believe it's considered YA. In this one we actually have P.T. Barnum. He is trying to make his fortune by having these wondrous, miraculous displays and shows and things, and he hears rumors that there is a mermaid living in this small seaside town. So he sends his little lackey kind of guy to go and fetch this mermaid, and whether she's real or not, he's going to use her for his show. So we have P.T. Barnum in here, so this is perfect for the readathon. It doesn't have a super circus heavy setting, so if you're wanting something that's a little bit lighter or something to kind of blend the other books, this would be a good choice. It's really sweet, it's heartwarming, it's got a little bit of historical fiction in here, and I really loved it. All right, next we have Escaping Houdini by Carrie Maniscalco. Pre-warning, you do need to read the first 2 books in this series before you read this one, as this is the 3rd installment. The first books are Stalking Jack the Ripper and Hunting Prince Dracula. They have different themes overall, but they follow the same characters and the same storyline. But if you have not gotten to this 3rd book in the series, now is your perfect time because it is set on a cruise ship and there are circus type performers and Houdini-esque magical illusions, and it is so good. It's such a fun time and it has the vibes really good. But make sure you only read this if you've read the first 2 books because it definitely ties in, and the characters in this series are so lovable and amazing that you need the whole experience. Overall, this is a YA murder mystery series with a really sweet, clean romance that's kind of more the backseat of the story. It is so good still anyway. We get a lot of mystery. It's just done so well. They are darker, but I personally didn't find them scary. And this book is perfect for the magic illusion category for the readathon. All right, next, and one of the most perfect books for the readathon is Carval by Stephanie Garber. I am shocked how many of you have not read this yet. I almost didn't want to put it on the recommendation list, but I posted a reel of me showing different circusy vibed books, and a lot of you said that you were picking this up for the readathon or had thought about it. This is one of my favorite trilogies of all time. I adore Stephanie Garber. I adore this world. I love the spin-off series that takes place after Carval. This is such a whimsical, magical, beautiful trilogy. It is so romantic, so fun. So this is a YA fantasy series, and basically there is this magical event called Carval, and it moves and changes every year. You have to get a ticket to go, and our main character Scarlett has always wanted to go, and one year she winds up getting a ticket mysteriously, and her sister Tella go, and when they wind up there, Tella gets mysteriously kidnapped and winds up becoming part of the entire event. It's kind of like a mystery magical event, and she becomes part of the show, and Scarlett has to solve some clues and things to try and find her sister, all while dealing with all these different illusions. She's not sure what is real and what is not. She's not sure if Tella's in danger, if she knew about it, and it is so good. I love the whole trilogy, but this book especially is amazing. The audio in particular is really good because Rebecca Solar narrates it, and this book would be good for the magic and illusion category. Next, we have another trilogy, but you can start with the first book this time, and that is the Undertale trilogy by Michael Buckley. So this one is one that I recommend a lot during Mermaid Marathon because this has a water creature, almost mermaid type element to it. It is so good. This is like a Marvel movie in a book. It's YA, it's action-packed, it's really fun. It's just a fun, good series. So this one will work for several challenges. We've got got a Ferris wheel on the cover here, and it is technically set at a theme park as well, because I believe we're set at the San Francisco pier, or one of the piers that has like a theme park kind of element to it. Second book also has the Ferris wheel on the cover. So in this series, we basically have these like water people creatures that just come out of the water in this San Francisco Bay Area, and the world changes. So we get a little bit of like a post-apocalyptic vibe, but nothing like bad is truly happening. We're just learning how to deal with like the appearance of these water creature people, and they just want to be accepted into society, but they also have their own rules and leaders and different things. They're called the Alpha race. Our main character Lyric is kind of forced into being like a buddy for the main leader's son of the Alpha race, and his name is Fathom, and she's supposed to help get him like used to high school and like humanity and all of these things, and he's very like brutal and intense and seems kind of violent, and so she's nervous about it. So this is happening, but also the world is just kind of trying to deal with the entire situation. It's so action-packed, fast-paced. It's not talked about enough. This one would also work for Hikeathon too, so you have no excuses not to get to it this year, because it's a phenomenal series. It's just such a fun experience, and the books just get better and better. Okay, next we're going to talk about Jurassic Park. I haven't read it yet, okay? And I'm not going to read it for the readathon because it's like 18 hours. But I do plan on reading it sometime this year. Jeff has read it and he really enjoyed it, and I wanted to include it because it's a classic and it's set at a theme park. And it's got a dinosaur theme park, so that's really unique, especially if you get tired of like the circus-y reads. I don't know how close it follows the movie, but I've heard really good things. I know that there are like 3 in the series, I think. So this is a good option for you for set at a theme park. Then we have Ciru Freak, my love-hate relationship series. The series as a whole, a little irksome. I really did not like the ending of this 12-book series. It is a darker, kind of horror-esque middle grade. It's done really, really well, and this first book is really good. You could technically stop there if you wanted. You won't follow the entire journey, but I wanted to recommend it because it has a circus setting and Misfit characters. So in this series, we're following Darren Shan, and he goes to this thing called the Ciru Freak, and when he gets there, there are basically like vampires and magical beings and different things happening, and him and his friend go, and he winds up having to become a vampire's assistant, and that's kind of the basis for the whole series. But it has a fun like little circus setting. The movie's pretty bad, but it's still kind of fun at the same time, so you could watch that during the readathon also. And this is a really short one. I think it's only a 4-hour audio. Ralph Lister's the narrator. Really, really good. It's a teensy bit scary, even though it's considered middle grade, and it's very dark, but I still really enjoyed at least the first few books. Then we have Daughter of the Burning City. This one is so good for the readathon. So in this one, we've got Misfit Characters, Magic and Illusion, and technically I'll let you count curtains on the cover / big top, because that was the option. So this is such an underrated book. I finally read this like 2 years ago and I was blown away. I did the audio. The narrator was incredible. However, I would still get the physical book because there are journal like entries and arts in here that you can follow along. This is a little bit of like a murder mystery series, so I'm going to read you the synopsis just because it's kind of detailed. So 16-year-old Serena has spent most of her life with the smoldering borders of the Gomorrah Festival. Yet even among the many unusual members of the traveling circus city, Serena stands apart as the only illusion worker born in hundreds of years. This rare talent allows her to create illusions that others can see, feel, and touch, with personalities all their own. Her creations are her family, and together they make up the cast of the festival's freak show. But no matter how lifelike they may seem, her illusions are still just that, illusions, and not truly real. Or so she always believed, until one of them is murdered. Someone murders someone in her family, and she finds the little journal pages about it as she goes along. There's so much goodness in here, and it's a standalone. There's so many cool magical elements and family elements, and it's just done so well, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I can't recommend this one enough. Then we have Hotel Magnifique, which I never see anyone talking about. This is another fabulous standalone. This is very similar to Carval, but still kind of its own unique thing. So in this one, we have like a traveling hotel, and the hotel kind of magically travels and moves around. We've got Janie, who is taking care of her younger sister Zosa, and she's like barely scraping by taking care of her, and this hotel magically appears in their town. So I'm going to read you some more from the synopsis too because it's detailed. So the Hotel Magnifique is famous for its astonishing enchantments, especially its ability to travel the world, arriving at a new destination at each midnight. Janie and Zosa seize their chance to join the hotel's staff, and they're soon swept up in a world of sparkling chandeliers and impossible magic. But it's not long before Janie discovers that beneath its marvelous glamour, the hotel is hiding dangerous secrets. So in this one, we have that like master of events type character like we do in Carval. There's like a grand master that's controlling everything, which I really, really love. There is a small romance in here, but it really takes a backseat to the mystery and the sisters. And I just found this like such a good time. It was really, really fun. It was unique. It had a lot of similar vibes to Carval, but it was still like its unique thing. It also didn't feel like it was like copycatting. So I really recommend this one. It's a standalone, it's short on audio, and I really enjoyed it. And this one is good for the magic and illusion category. Next we have the Mermaid's Sister, so another mermaid book on here. A lot of mermaid books have like a circus element because we'll use the mermaids for like their acts. Again, I'm going to read you the synopsis for this one. So in a cottage high atop Landfair Mountains, 16-year-old Clara lives with her sister Marin and guardian Auntie. By day they gather herbs for Auntie's healing potions, and by night Auntie spins tales of faraway lands and wicked fairies. Clara's favorite story tells of three infants: Clara, who was brought to Auntie by a stork; Marin, who arrived in a seashell; and their best friend O'Neill, who was found beneath an apple tree. One day, Clara discovers shimmering scales just beneath her sister's skin. Marin is becoming a mermaid and must be taken to the sea or she will die. So Clara, O'Neill, and the mermaid girl set out for shore, but the trio encounters troubles around every bend. Ensnared by an evil troupe of traveling performers, Clara and O'Neill must find a way to save themselves and the ever-weakening Marin. So they kind of get caught up in like a circus type situation. This one would be good for Misfit Characters, but it also has a little bit of a circus element. Overall, this is a beautiful, enchanting, lovely book. You need to read it either for this readathon or Mermaid Marathon. It's so good. I can't recommend it enough. Okay, on the like lighter theme side, we have Midnight at the Electric. So we kind of have like a curtains on the cover. This one originally I thought was going to be very circus carnival themed for the cover and kind of the description. It's not really. It's just a little bit more of a look into family and generations. It is a really beautiful book though. So if you want something different and not super circus or theme park heavy, I would recommend this one. So in this one, we are following three different women. We're in Kansas in 2065, and Audrey has secured a slot as a colonist on one of the lucky few handpicked to live on Mars. But weeks before her launch, she discovers the journal of a girl who lived in her house nearly 100 years ago. Then we have Oklahoma, 1934, and amid the fear and uncertainty of the Dust Bowl, Catherine fantasizes about her family's farmland and longs for the immortality promised by a professor at a traveling show called The Electric. Then in England, 1919, in the recovery following the First World War, Lenore struggles with her grief for her brother, fallen British soldier, and plans to sail to America in pursuit of a childhood friend. So somehow all of these women's stories interconnect together. We have that electric kind of fair. It's a very small part of the book. I'm actually surprised that they named it that. It's really more just about connection and life in general, but it's a really, really good book and something I don't recommend enough. Okay, next I'm going to recommend one for my horror girlies out there. I didn't love this one. I actually gave it 2 stars, so you've been warned, but I feel like I'm going to be asked about it, and I am going to try to read the graphic novel for the readathon, so we'll go into that in a second. So we have Hide by Kiersten White. I so wanted to love this one because I enjoy Kiersten White's writing style. This was her first adult novel though, and I feel like sometimes with YA authors, they go a little bit too heavy into adult themes when they write their first adult novel, and it was just extremely dark. It is considered a horror novel or a light horror novel, so that's kind of on me, but it has a Ferris wheel on the cover and it's set at a theme park. The concept was great. I actually really liked the ending. I just didn't feel like it was fully executed well. So in this one we have a challenge, and it's to spend a week hiding out in an abandoned amusement park and don't get caught. The prize money will change everything. Even though everyone's desperate to win, to seize their dream futures, or escape their haunting past, Mac feels sure that she can beat her competitors because all she has to do is hide, and she's an expert at that. It's the reason she's alive and her family isn't. But as the people around her begin disappearing one by one, Mac realizes this competition is more sinister than even she imagined, and together might be the only way to survive. So a couple of issues I had with this one. One, we focus a lot on the pasts of the characters, and they're very dark and hard to read about. Two, there are a lot of characters. There's like 12, and they're very hard to keep track of. It was very hard to feel connected to them because there were just so many. I wish we would have focused more time on the theme park and events happening because that was super interesting, and the overall ending was good, but I just didn't love like the entire experience. We are going to try the graphic novel because I feel like it might cut out some of the issues that I had, so I'll let you know. But this does have a Ferris wheel on the cover, and the cover is beautiful. And we have Misfit Characters. Next, I'm pulling a fun one in. So we have 4 by Veronica Roth. Now this is the novella collection that goes with Divergent. So if you have read the Divergent trilogy, which is pretty good, kind of like a classic staple in YA, 4 makes a great read. This is individual stories told from 4's perspective. If you're not familiar with this series, it's like a post-apocalyptic dystopian world. We're set into different factions. We've got to survive and beat the government. It's done really, really well. And I actually did not like reading about 4 in the books that much. He's great in the movie. But the novella collection was very good, and I loved the stories. I loved learning from his perspective and kind of going back into the world, and it has a fabulous Ferris wheel on the cover. So if you've read the first 3, this is the time to pick up the novella collection. It's a good one and it's really quick. Next is another one that I didn't truly love, but I'm giving you guys all the options. So we have the Kingdom Keepers series, and the first book being Disney After Dark. So I wanted to love this series so much. So this is set at Disneyland, and it's basically at nighttime. The villains and characters will come to life, and there are kids, and they're exploring, and there are holograms and like really fast-paced technology. This is a middle grade series. I read like the first 2 or 3, and they were just like 3 stars for me. I really liked the theme park setting, so that's good for that. And there's Misfit Characters. I'm sure there's a Ferris wheel at some point in the series too. I really liked the setting, and I liked the characters, but it definitely felt more on the younger side of middle grade, and I hate saying that because obviously it's for middle graders, but there are different levels to YA and middle grade. And I also felt like they were a little bit long at times, and it just didn't fully give me the vibes that I wanted. Again, I'm a full adult, but I do love middle grade and read it frequently. So this is a fun one to check out, especially if you love Disney and it's set at a theme park. So perfect. And then lastly, we have Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell. So this one is for the set at a theme park category as well. This is a graphic novel that is set at a pumpkin patch. So not technically a theme park, but it will work for that category. One of my favorite graphic novels ever. It's about 2 best friends and their last summer working together at this pumpkin patch. The illustrations are so adorable and fun. It's so charming and has a lovely map. They drink apple cider. They go to different events. I wish this pumpkin patch existed because it's the best one ever. And it's just really, really fun. So if you want something short and fun, I know it's not fall anymore, but it's good for any time of the year. Okay, you guys, so those are all of the books that I think would be good for the readathon, for different categories, or just in general. They have the theme park, circus, carnival vibes that will work great. Stay tuned for my Randomathon book haul, which is also going to have all of these categories. I have quite a few books. I was actually kind of surprised. And I will have a Randomathon TBR coming out a week before the readathon for books that I have personally picked to get to for all of the categories. Really excited for that. And I'll have more reels and photos and things as well. Today, I am posting pictures and descriptions for the group read choice. There will be a poll up for 24 hours both on YouTube and Instagram, and then I just combine the results. So be sure and go and vote on which one sounds the best to you. There's some really exciting options. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at The Bright Side Girl if you haven't already. The hashtag for the readathon is #Randomathon. And yeah, I think that's everything so far. We'll see you guys next time on The Bright Side.